Los Angeles, a city of dreams, where sunlight kisses skyscrapers and shadows whisper secrets. In the heart of downtown stands the Cecil Hotel, a relic of old Hollywood turned ghost of its former self. Its walls have witnessed more death, despair, and darkness than most cemeteries. It was here in early 2013 that a young woman named Elisa Lam, a 21-year-old college student from Vancouver, checked in and vanished. What began as a simple missing person case soon twisted into one of the most baffling and chilling mysteries of the 21st century.
Elisa Lam, the tourist from Vancouver, Canada, arrived in Los Angeles on January 26th.
According to the hotel manager, the woman was booked for 4 nights. Lam was last seen in the lobby in the late hours of the 31st.
Surveillance video shows her acting oddly inside the hotel elevator, as if she's hiding from someone.
She had been missing since the morning of February 1st.
And investigators said she died of an accidental drowning. The mystery surrounding her death has only grown.
Elisa arrived in Los Angeles full of wanderlust. She was curious, kind, and open about her struggles with bipolar disorder on her blog. The Cecil was cheap, central, and, as she likely didn't know, infamous. For days, she explored the city. Then, on January 31st, she disappeared. Police searched her room, the hallways, the streets. Nothing. No sign of struggle, no witnesses. The only clue came from a security camera in the hotel elevator. The footage, grainy, timestamp flickering, showed Elisa stepping in. She pressed multiple buttons. Then she peered out, as if hiding from someone. She darted in and out, waving her hands strangely, moving like she was speaking to someone only she could see. Then, just like that, she vanished from the frame. The video went viral. Millions watched, trying to decode her movements. Was she scared, playing, talking to someone invisible? Weeks later, the hotel guests began to complain. The water tastes strange, they said. It's dark, others added. Maintenance workers climbed to the roof to check the water tanks. What they found would freeze Los Angeles in collective horror. Floating inside one of the tanks was Elisa Lam's body, naked, her clothes drifting nearby. The tank was locked, the lid was heavy, the rooftop alarm never went off. The autopsy revealed no drugs, no alcohol, no signs of trauma. Just a young woman, inexplicably drowned in a place she should never have reached. Detectives tried to explain it. Maybe a manic episode, maybe an accident, but logic fell short. How did she lift the heavy lid? Why didn't anyone hear her? And why did her behavior in the elevator seem almost haunted? Theories spread like wildfire. Paranormal activity, foul play, government experiments, even the influence of the hotel's dark history. The Cecil had been home to serial killers, suicides, and tragedies stretching back decades. Some called it cursed. Others said Elisa simply became another victim of coincidence and untreated illness, but no one could ever prove how she got into that tank, alive or dead. Today, the Cecil Hotel stands rebranded, its infamy sealed in documentaries and podcasts. Tourists still pause at its gates, staring up at the rooftop where the water once ran cold. Elisa Lam's story remains unsolved, a haunting echo of the line between reason and the unknown. In the end, her death wasn't just a tragedy, it became a mirror, reflecting our fascination with mystery, madness, and the thin, trembling line that separates truth from terror. Because sometimes, the scariest thing about a ghost story is when it's true. In the summer of 1912, Villisca, Iowa, was the kind of town where everyone knew your name, a place of church picnics, white picket fences, and unlocked doors. Life was simple, safe, until one June morning when that illusion shattered forever. By sunrise, 8 people, 6 of them children, lay dead inside a modest white house on the corner of 2nd Street. Each had been struck with an axe, each face unrecognizable. And yet, what truly haunted Villisca wasn't just the horror of the killings, it was everything that came after.
In Villisca, Iowa, there was this serial killer that came in, killed 2 parents and 6 kids with an axe. To this day, it's an unsolved murder.
The most gruesome part about it is the killer used the blunt side of the axe. You can still see the axe markings in the ceiling when he was going back.
June 9th, 1912. The Moore family, Josiah, his wife Sarah, and their 4 children, hosted 2 neighbor girls, Lena and Ina Stillinger, for a church event. Laughter echoed through the streets as the children returned home late that evening, full of life and tired from the long day. At around 10 p.m., the lamps went out. No one heard a scream. No one saw a thing. When morning came and the family didn't stir, neighbors grew uneasy. Josiah's brother arrived, knocked, called out. Silence. When he finally stepped inside, he was met with a scene so gruesome it would stain the town's soul forever. Every family member was in bed, lifeless, the curtains drawn, mirrors and glass surfaces draped in cloth, every door locked from the inside. The axe, Josiah's own, lay at the foot of the bed, slick with blood. Investigators said the killer waited in the attic, watching the family return home, listening as they drifted to sleep, and then descended into the dark. The case tore Villisca apart. Suspects emerged: a jealous preacher, a drifting stranger, a senator's son. But nothing ever stuck. No footprints outside, no fingerprints on the axe, no signs of forced entry. Whoever did it had locked the doors, covered the mirrors, and vanished into the quiet Iowa dawn as though they'd never been there at all. Years passed. The town tried to forget. But the house refused to let them. Over a century later, the Villisca Axe Murder House still stands, preserved exactly as it was that night. Paint peeling, floorboards creaking, time frozen. Paranormal investigators from across the country have come, and most leave changed. They report hearing children's laughter echoing down empty halls, footsteps pacing in the attic, and doors that close by themselves. Some have felt the chill of small hands brushing against theirs in the dark. One investigator fainted after hearing a voice whisper his name, though he was alone in the room. Locals say the spirits of the Moore children still play there, trapped between this world and the next. Others believe something darker lingers. The presence of the killer, still stalking through his crime scene. More than 100 years have passed, yet the Villisca Axe murders remain unsolved. No confession, no closure, only questions that echo through time. By day, it's a relic, a tourist attraction. By night, it's a wound that never healed. The house stands silent on 2nd Street, its windows staring like hollow eyes. And when the wind moves just right, some say you can still hear the faint rhythm of the axe, rising, falling, rising again. Because in Villisca, the dead never really left. They just stopped answering the door. Deep in the Bavarian countryside, surrounded by dense woods and endless fields, stood a lonely farmhouse called Hinterkaifeck. It was the kind of place where the wind carried whispers, where the nights stretched too long, and where secrets could rot quietly beneath the soil. In March 1922, the Gruber family, Andreas, his wife Cecilia, their widowed daughter Victoria, and her 2 young children, lived there, isolated from the world. They worked the land, kept to themselves, and knew every creak and shadow of their home. So when they began hearing footsteps in the attic, they knew something was wrong. And when they found footprints in the snow leading from the woods to their farm, but none returning, they knew something was watching them. 6 days later, they were all dead. It began with whispers, faint thuds above their heads at night, tools that moved on their own, keys that vanished. Andreas Gruber told his neighbors, uneasy but unsure. Maybe it was a fox, maybe a thief, maybe his imagination. But fear had already seeped into Hinterkaifeck's walls. On the night of March 31st, 1922, it came for them. Someone entered the barn first. Andreas, his wife Victoria, and little Cecilia were found inside, one after another, brutally murdered with a pickaxe. Each had been lured out, one by one, likely by a noise or cry, into the darkness. Inside the house, the maid and young Joseph, just 2 years old, were found slain in their beds. 6 bodies, no witnesses, no mercy. But the most disturbing part? Whoever killed them stayed. When neighbors discovered the bodies days later, they noticed strange things. The cows had been fed. The chimney still smoked. Meals had been eaten. The killer, or killers, had lived on the farm for days after the murders, sleeping in the Gruber's beds, tending their animals, existing among the corpses. Detectives found the footprints again, the same ones leading from the forest. Still, none returning. No forced entry, no stolen money, just silence, snow, and blood. The investigation became one of the largest in German history. Dozens were questioned. Neighbors, farmhands, lovers, even priests. Some believed it was a vengeful relative. Others suspected a drifter or an escaped soldier from the war. And then there were those who whispered that the farmhouse itself was cursed, that something inhuman had walked in from the woods and never left. Despite countless leads, no one was ever charged. No motive, no confession. Only the sound of those phantom footsteps in the attic echoing through eternity. Today, Hinterkaifeck no longer stands. The farmhouse was torn down, the land replanted, but the legend never died. Visitors claim that when the wind blows over that empty field, you can still hear footsteps crunching through the soil. Others swear they've seen flickers of light moving where the attic once stood. The footprints may have faded, but the fear remains. The fear of being watched, of knowing something is already inside your walls. Because at Hinterkaifeck, the dead never had a chance to scream. And the farm? It still listens. Westfield, New Jersey. A quiet, tree-lined town where the American dream still feels alive. Big lawns, white picket fences. The kind of place where kids ride bikes till sunset and neighbors wave as you pass. In 2014, Derek and Maria Broaddus thought they had found home. A beautiful 6-bedroom colonial at 657 Boulevard. The kind of house you work your whole life to afford. But dreams can rot fast. And the Broaddus family would soon learn that behind the manicured hedges and cozy porch lights, something or someone was watching.
When a New Jersey family moved into a new home, they began receiving disturbing letters from someone who called themselves the Watcher. Now, after years of torment, that family is finally speaking out.
Just days after closing on the house, Derek went by to check the mail. Among the usual junk and bills was an envelope, cream-colored, handwritten, addressed simply to the new owner. No return address. Inside, in neat but unsettling handwriting, were the words that would start a nightmare. Dearest new neighbor at 657 Boulevard, allow me to welcome you to the neighborhood. 657 Boulevard has been the subject of my family for decades now, and as it approaches its 110th birthday, I have been put in charge of watching and waiting for its second coming. The letter went on to mention the Broaddus children by nickname and age, though the kids had barely been to the house. "I see you have children. I've seen them already. Once I know their names, I will call to them." Derek froze. The letter ended with a question that still chills anyone who reads it. Who am I? I am the Watcher. Police were called immediately. They searched the neighborhood, questioned everyone, and told the Broadduses to delay moving in, just to be safe. But then came another letter. This time, the writer seemed angry that the family hadn't moved in yet. 657 Boulevard is crying from all the pain it is going through. You have changed it and made it so fancy. It cries for the past and what used to be in the time when I roamed its halls. The Watcher seemed to know everything. Where the family parked, how many workers came and went when Maria walked the halls. It was as if someone, from somewhere close, was always looking. Detectives traced DNA from the envelope. Female, but no match. They canvassed the area. Nothing. Neighbors became suspects. Friends grew distant. Everyone was looking over their shoulders. The Broaddus family began to unravel under the pressure. They never spent a single night in their new home. Months passed. Investigators tried to piece together clues. A local couple obsessed with the house decades earlier. A family who'd lived there without trouble. An eccentric recluse nearby. Each theory led nowhere. The Watcher wrote again, "You don't know what lies within the walls of 657 Boulevard. It will draw you back. It always does." Some believed it was a cruel prank. Others whispered about a stalker living among them. But in truth, no one ever saw a thing. Finally, the Broadduses sold the house in 2019 at a massive loss. The new owners received no letters. The mystery remained sealed inside those walls. Today, 657 Boulevard stands serene. Green shutters, perfect lawn, kids playing down the street. But for those who know its story, it's not the same. Because somewhere, perhaps just beyond the hedge, there might still be someone watching. Someone who never stopped. The Watcher was never caught. No identity, no motive. Just a series of letters that turned a dream home into a legend of suburban terror. And as long as that house stands, so does the question, who was the Watcher? And are they still watching? Los Angeles, 1947. A city glittering with fame, jazz, and neon dreams. But behind the glitz, there's darkness. The war is over. The movie stars shine brighter than ever. And every waitress, every drifter, every pretty face is chasing the same illusion, Hollywood stardom. Among them was Elizabeth Short, a 22-year-old with porcelain skin, black hair, and a smile that could light up the silver screen. Friends called her the Black Dahlia for her love of black dresses and the film The Blue Dahlia. She came to LA chasing hope. What she found was horror.
Elizabeth Short, better known as the Black Dahlia. Her case may be the most brutal unsolved murder in history. And there are many theories about the nickname Black Dahlia, including how she adorned her black hair, her dark hair, with dahlia flowers. Now, as a surgeon, I was completely shocked by what was done to her body, and you will be too.
Dubbed the Black Dahlia, her case became one of America's most infamous unsolved mysteries till this day. Moves to California in 1942.
Elizabeth Short was a socialite. She was going into different circles. January 9th. Multiple witnesses claim to have seen her at the Crown Grill. After 7:30, no one sees her again.
This girl sounds like the definitive wide-eyed actress.
Right.
On the morning of January 15th, 1947, a young mother pushing her stroller down South Norton Avenue stopped dead in her tracks. Across the street in an empty lot, she saw what she thought was a mannequin, cut clean in half, but it wasn't plastic. It was Elizabeth Short. Her body had been drained entirely of blood, her skin pale as paper. Her face had been mutilated, a gruesome smile carved from ear to ear. Her body was posed deliberately, almost theatrically, her hands raised above her head like a broken marionette. There were no fingerprints, no blood at the scene, no sign of struggle. The killer had cleaned her, washed her. Whoever did this wasn't sloppy. They were methodical. The newspapers called it the Black Dahlia murder, and the legend began. The LAPD was overwhelmed. Leads poured in from every corner of Los Angeles, and every single one led nowhere. Soon, the story spread nationwide. Elizabeth Short wasn't just a victim anymore. She was a symbol, the face of Hollywood's dark underbelly. Journalists hounded anyone who knew her. Rumors painted her as a femme fatale, a seductress, a wanderer. But those who truly knew her said she was sweet, lonely, and just trying to make it. Then came the letters. The Los Angeles Examiner received envelopes with cut-out letters and personal items belonging to Elizabeth, her birth certificate, business cards, and photographs. Each one was signed, the Black Dahlia Avenger. Handwriting experts said the notes came from the killer. Police found fingerprints, but they were mysteriously lost in transit. Meanwhile, witnesses came forward. Several claimed to have seen a smiling man in a black car watching Elizabeth days before her death. Some said he was charming. Others said his grin never reached his eyes. But no one ever saw him again. Over time, more than 150 suspects were questioned, including doctors, actors, and even a few police officers. One name, however, would rise above the rest: Dr. George Hodel, a wealthy physician with a sinister reputation and ties to the LA elite. His own son would later claim that Hodel not only knew Elizabeth Short, he may have killed her. When police secretly bugged Hodel's house in 1950, they recorded him saying, "Supposing I did kill the Black Dahlia. They couldn't prove it now, but before charges could be filed, he fled the country." And with that, the trail went cold. Decades have passed. Hollywood has changed. The lot where Elizabeth's body was found is now just another neighborhood corner. Quiet, unremarkable, unknown. But her ghost lingers in every dark alley, every smoky bar, every whispered tale of the city that promises everything and takes even more. Elizabeth Short wanted to be famous, and in the cruelest twist of fate, she got her wish. Not as a starlet, but as a legend carved into America's darkest folklore. The Black Dahlia's murder remains unsolved. Her killer, the smiling man in the black car, vanished into the city's veins. And Los Angeles, the city of angels, has never stopped bleeding.